I'm Nick Boy, welcome to Pocket. Yesterday you heard the rest, now hear the best. It's the top 5 for 2016 for Nick Boy. Mwah. All right, here we go. The top 5 games for 2016, and these aren't just my opinion, these are facts. Unarguable, objective facts. Put them on Wikipedia, write them in your encyclopedias. Here's number 5. And a lot of you are gonna disagree. Zero Time Dilemma.
What are you talking about?
I'll let Carlos choose.
Pick red.
It's blue.
So what do you say, Carlos?
Oh God, her breasts are so distracting. Oh baby, I can't expect many people will actually have this game on their list, and for very good reason. I've written down a couple of points here. There's a lot to hate. The writing.
Will you still love me? Even with me being like this?
How dumb can you get?
The acting.
Yeah, I am. Drunk on life.
Oh my God. Lots of the puzzles.
Oh shit. Oh no, these ones.
The design.
What the f?
The animation. The unintuitive menus.
Where is my ending?
There's a lot about this game that I go, no one should play it. But there's something about the sheer tenacity to weave a story this complex and ridiculous and over the top and stupid, but also it holds together, and I don't know how they did it.
I had a hunch when I first met him.
I mean, this
was
kid
right.
would be shitting his helmet
Told
right
you,
now.
didn't I?
Look at that. That is the face of someone forcing out so much poop. I played the game for about 22 hours. I would say a good 19 of those hours were just sheer frustration. But there were 3 hours there where my mind was blown, and it actually created so many memories for me. When I think about 2016, I played so many games, but this is a game that I played over a very long period of time. Most of the others I played and then put aside. This one, because I was live streaming it, it stretched out over a few months, and that meant that every couple of weeks I would have a signpost of a really significant game moment by playing this. There's a real revelation of the kid, or Eric and his ridiculous ice cream stuffed backstory, or the fact that time travel is happening 3 or 4 different ways in the one game. There are a heap of giant shocks here, and I think it might be a little unfair that I'm putting this on there for this reason as well, but a lot of my enjoyment was heightened by the fact that I shared it with you guys on a stream.
You're completely correct, Shah.
We all got really shocked together. We all got really frustrated together, and we all solved this stuff together. There were so many theories flying about. There were recaps for every episode. It was a real event when we were playing it, and I can't think of the last time that I had a game where I hated so much of it, but I just needed to go back.
Better not try to weasel out of this.
Right, so we're gonna watch a child die twice in this stream. That's exciting. And that's why you're number 5 and not number 1, Zero Time Dilemma, but there is a number 4, and it's Overwatch.
I'm not a monkey. I'm a scientist.
Again, going back to the fact that I played a bunch of shooters that I really loved this year, and Overwatch, everyone's playing Overwatch. Everyone is playing Overwatch. If you're not playing Overwatch right now, you played it a couple of weeks ago, or you're planning on doing it over the Christmas break. And that's because it's just so accessible. It's just so simple to pick up and understand. All the characters are just so different, and there's a real emphasis on support in this game, of not necessarily going for the most kills. In fact, you get all these rewards for just assists. That's almost as important as actually having the final shot in the game. So many of the characters are support classes. So many of them are utility classes where you go, I don't need to have the best aim. I can be someone who helps my team with auras, who can stand at the back line and just heal everybody from there. I can set up turrets. I can be someone who becomes my own turret. I don't need to necessarily have these twitch reactions. It's a really accessible game that has a huge amount of depth and is really complicated if you really want to make it like that, because you can change characters in every single match. There's a shifting meta every game, not just overall. There are powerful characters in 1 minute of the game, and then suddenly they become less powerful because someone has counterpicked it. And that's an incredible feat to put on top of a game that is also, you can just main one character and you'll still have a blast. It's classic Blizzard. They come in and they're like, oh yeah, you've been making these kinds of games for 10 years. Boom! Here's one that's bigger and better than all of them. Well done, Overwatch. You're my favorite shooter of the year. Moving on now to number 3. Inside. Oh, come on. You butt. You total butt. Can you climb? Oh no, you can't climb, you friggin' idiot. Inside is a game that is so simple in its design that it must have taken forever to get there. There are no cutscenes, there's no dialogue, there's no audio logs, there's no written story, there's barely any like puzzle teaching. It's just world building by doing. You're just going through this game, you're going through these puzzles that are perfectly crafted. Every single one is its own moment that you don't really use the, mechanics you learned at the beginning of the game, at the end of the game. Most of the time that would be a criticism, but here it's because you've evolved. You've gone, we've completely solved this puzzle, now let's move on to a new idea that has totally new mechanics that would have taken its own total design doc to come up with. There's a reason there's been a giant gap between Limbo and Inside. It's a game that is so simple from the outset, but it's so deep and complex in how it was actually designed. It's a marvel. Ah! Oh my god! Oh my god! That was so horrible. Story-wise, it's also so bleak and tragic. I know so much about this world and about the characters that inhabit it without ever hearing any of them speak. Everyone has the same idea of what this story is as it goes through. 80% of the game, we all go, yeah, I know exactly what was going on. I know the world that I was inhabiting. There are not many games out there that can provoke artistic interpretation from the individual player in terms of story, in terms of gameplay, because it changes so much based on the story. And that ending, which is so thought-provoking and haunting and disgusting and tragic and also just darkly funny. So many people have different ideas about what that means. And I think that's a real joy in video games. Everything is so black and white in video games most of the time. This is real nuance and interpretation. It's just absolutely stunning. Number 2, The Witness. Can't start, oh wait, I can start somewhere else. Okay, what if I just dodge? You intrigue me, Blow. I'm just gonna slowly back away from this one. Just keep my eye on it in case it jumps me. I love The Witness for the same reason I love Inside. You get this world and you're not told anything about it. It introduces really unique puzzle mechanics. This is a video game mechanic that we haven't really seen before outside of a newspaper. These are newspaper puzzles where you're doing it with a pen and pencil. And when I first heard about it, I went, how can you possibly make a game where just connecting dots on a line puzzle is the whole mechanic? I obviously should not be designing video games, and Jonathan Blow should probably be making them all, because there are so many ways you can do this. Oh! Wow, he's really spinning a lot out of one principal mechanic. I love The Witness for 2 main reasons. One, the person it made me when I was playing it. It made me someone who had way more patience for a video game. It made me someone who was frustrated. It made me someone who was taking notes and playing the game outside of the game. I wasn't looking at Reddit like I do when I'm trying to figure out a Dark Souls boss or something. I'm sitting there like scratching away while I'm watching a TV show with, I've got a picture of a puzzle in one hand and I'm trying to figure out how to solve it. And sometimes I can do that, but half the time I can't, because the real key to that puzzle is not the way that you get through it, it's the way that you need to move yourself around the environment, the way that you need to perceive other things that will give you the answer. For every one of those puzzles, the answer is literally there in front of you. You have just not seen it yet. And that is absolutely brilliant. And it's puzzles on puzzles on puzzles. The puzzles beget more puzzles, and the whole thing is one giant, enormous puzzle. Just brilliant. Also, the gameplay will constantly be fresh. I can give this game to someone in 50 years' time and it will still feel like a modern game, because it's not, we don't see this kind of mechanic all the time, so it's not like, oh yes, this has been refined more and more, so, shooters back in the early 90s feel so clunky compared to now. Line drawing will never feel clunky, because no one ever puts it in a video game. Oh no, don't back up too much, Nick. You'll forget everything you've learned. All right, here we are. Number 1, the big kahuna, Nikki's pick, best game of 2016 and 2015 if you include Contradiction. It's Uncharted 4: A Thief's End.
I'm on my way. For God's sakes, don't shoot him yet.
Not want to hurry then.
Exploding mummy? Yep.
I'm okay.
Come here.
You good? Yeah.
You knew it was coming. How could you not know it was coming? It's probably one of the greatest video games that's ever been made. Unsurpassed story.
You know what, Nate? Underneath all the bravado, you're just a sad little boy with delusions of grandeur.
Unsurpassed graphics. Unsurpassed acting.
Apparently the natives called it a semi.
Oh, dear Lord.
Boring stuff. Tell me about the article.
And gameplay that's still actually pretty damn good. And that's how we escape Moroccan markets. And I know that should probably be at the top of the list when it comes to a video game, but for the Uncharted series, you're there for the spectacle and you're there for the characters, and this delivered in spades with both of them. And Uncharted 4, for me, it's not a caveat, but it has an unfair advantage over almost every other single game that came out this year, and that is, I am so attached to Nathan Drake. I have so much history with this character from 3 other spectacular games. This is the wrapping up of not only a story, of not only a series, but also a real chapter in my life of going, these are games that are truly meaningful to me because they showed me that video games could be something that are so sophisticated in their storytelling, that are so seamless in the way that they deliver story and gameplay and action and spectacle and fun and humor and heart and heartbreak. It's just all of the feelings you could have get stuffed into the Uncharted series. And so to wrap it up, then I'm already going into this going, you're going to deliver me an emotional payoff that's actually stronger than anything else that any other game this year could give me. So that's going to instantly make it my game of the year. Thankfully, on top of the fact that they're just wrapping up something for me and I'm getting an emotional kick out of it, it's also just a sublime game, and they stuck the landing harder than any other last game in a series has ever stuck the landing.
I'm gonna have my hands full with the camera.
Well, I'm gonna have my hands full with all the diving.
Okay, fine. We'll take turns.
It's pretty hard to argue with Uncharted. In fact, it's hard to argue with all 5 of these games because, as I said, these are facts. These aren't just my games. These are your 5 favorite games of the year. Well done. I'm sure it came as a surprise that Zero Time Dilemma is on that list for you. But if for some reason you do want to argue with cold, hard facts, then let me know in the comments below what your favorite games of the year were and why. And until we assemble in 2017, my Pocketeers, NichBoy out. Mwah. It's there though. I said it. 5. You'll love it forever.
Speaking of hosting,
Speaking of,
my favorite day this year was when Ben Bro came in and we did the hosting.
yeah.
Just like that. Yep.